it's Christina with Wonderspark Puppets. It is almost 4 o'clock, so we are about to get started. This will be the first DIY of Farm Week. So all of our crafts this week will be farm themed. Today we are making an upcycled stick horse. So here are your supplies that you can start gathering. You will want a big stick if you have time to go out in the yard or nearby park and try to find a really big stick, or an old broom handle might work as well. That's what I'm going to use. Just make sure that it fits inside of the end of your bottle like that. That would be ideal. Sorry. We'll cut that out. But otherwise, you can also use we can use a paper towel roll also, and it can work in much the same way. So if you're not able to use an old broom or a big stick, we can find another way. All right, be right back. Hello everyone, it is just about 4 o'clock, so we are going to get started. Okay, there we go. Got my water here because it is quite warm today. I might need a drink, but here we go. Ready? Welcome! It is 4 o'clock. So we are getting started with today's Wonderspark DIY puppet craft. Woo! Okay. Welcome everyone. It is Farm Week this week. So that means that all of our DIY crafts are going to be dealing with farm animals and farm-like things, probably usually animals. And that will be gearing up to our live streamed puppet show on Friday. So stay tuned with us all week. We'll be making farm themed crafts. And today we're kicking it off with this really cute upcycled stick horse. Okay, so I'll give you a quick little demo. I kind of took the string apart, but I'll kind of show you how it's going to work. We're going to have our bottle. It's going to fit right on top of our big stick that we have. We can hold the stick, and then we can ride around on our stick horse. So this is a great one since we are getting into the middle of summer here. So this is a great thing that you can make, and you can get outside and ride around in your yard or in a nearby park if you can. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's pretty easy to make. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move my sample over here, and let's go over the supplies that we will need. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need is one of these big old soda bottles, if soda is something that you drink, or another kind of bottle, maybe big bottle of water or something like that. This one is 2 liters, so 2 or 3 liter bottle. one of those big ones. And like I said, we will need a big stick. This one is an old broom handle. And it's ideal if it can fit right inside the opening of your soda bottle. So if you can, go outside into the yard or a park, try to find a nice big stick that will fit that way. But like I said earlier, if not, we can take one or two of these paper towel rolls and we can put them over that opening and tape it together, and that should work pretty well as well if you're not able to find something like this. Okay, cool. Next thing we'll need is some duct tape so we can secure everything together. We will need some brown paper or a cereal box. I have some old brown paper bags here, so that's what I'm going to use. Oh, lots of honking going on outside. Sorry about that. We'll need some construction paper. Since we have our brown paper, mostly what I'm going to use is some pink and red for the details of my little stick horse. And then just some white paper. This will be for the eyes. If you have some really big googly eyes, you can use those too, but I'm just going to use paper today. We will need some scissors to be able to cut out those little details, and a black marker to kind of draw our shapes and make the pupils for the eyes. And then we'll need a glue stick, and we'll need some yarn or string. If you have some of that little smaller like rope looking string, that's kind of nice for a little horse puppet, but I'm just going to use regular yarn today because that's what I have. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. So let's go. The first thing we're going to want to do, you also want to make sure, I think I put this in our little promo video, but you want to make sure and rinse out all of the sticky soda or juice or whatever that's in the bottle first and give it a chance to dry. So I've done that already, and now I'm just going to cut the label off. I'm just going to find a little part where it's kind of loose, make a little cut, and I can just peel it right off. This is my favorite soda, Dr. Pepper. I've outed myself. Okay. Ta-da! So now we have this little part where it was glued on, which might look a little ugly, but that's okay because we're going to cover it up. Okay. Don't need to worry about that. So now what I'm going to do is I want to take kind of the end here, and if you need an adult for this, you can ask, but we just want to kind of bend it down like that. Whoop. Sorry for the noise. We want to try and keep the end part kind of round and open, but here we can flatten it a little bit. We just want this kind of shape. So this is going to be the snout of our little horse, and then here is where the stick is going to fit in, so it'll go more downwards. So that's why we're bending our bottle. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this again. Sorry for the noise. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I told you we were gonna cover up this ugly part, so I want to make sure that that is on top. This is a noisy one today. Maybe I should have done it for Music Week. Okay, so I'm going to keep this paper part that was glued, I'm going to keep it on top so that we can cover it up. But I'm still going to make that same bend that we just talked about. Okay, now I think we're done with the noise. Ta-da, but I've got that same shape that we were just talking about. Okay, let's set that aside, and now we're going to start making some of the details, the little cute face of our little stick horse. Okay, so first I'm going to take my brown paper here, and I'm going to make, you see how I have this outline, this brown outline around the eyes? That's what I use to cover up that white part where the label was glued, so that we won't see it in our little stick horse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw it with a marker so that you can see. I'm basically going to draw two big oval shapes that are going to kind of overlap. So they don't have to be exactly perfect. I think it's kind of cute when they're a little mismatched. So something like that. And all I'm going to do is cut around the outside. All right? I'm going to let this part overlap. I'm just going to leave it, but I'm going to cut the outside lines like that. All right. Let's do that. Almost done. Okay. So we have something that looks like this. So these are kind of where our two little eyes are going to go. All right. So now I can take my, and I can, if I want, make sure that that's going to cover that white part, and it looks like it is going to. So perfect. All right. I can set that aside. We're going to use some more brown paper later, so don't just toss it aside yet, but we can move it out of the way. And now I'm going to make my eyes. If you want, you can fold your paper, make a little fold, and then you can draw one eye. And then when you cut out the one eye, because your paper is folded, you'll automatically have two that are the same size and shape. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. So because my paper is folded, I only have to cut it out once. And now I have two that are the same size and shape. Although I might trim one of them because, like I said, I think it's kind of cute when they're kind of different sizes. So I'm going to end up putting those two white circles onto that brown paper. Let's move my red paper aside, and I do think I'm going to make one of these just a little smaller, just to make my little horse a little funnier. Okay, so now I have one that's a little bit smaller. And if you want to cut the circles individually, you can do that too. Ta-da! Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black marker and I'm going to draw the black part of the eye, which is called the pupil. Somewhere kind of in the middle. I'm going to make mine kind of towards the center. I have this really big marker, which makes this easy for me. So here I've drawn it kind of toward the middle and the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing on this other eye here. Coloring in that circle. Ooh, we got some people beeping their horns outside. I wonder what they're in a hurry for. Okay. So now we've got our two eyes and we're going to glue them onto our brown paper just like that. Cute. Okay, so for that I'm going to use my glue stick and I'm just going to put some glue here on my white paper on my eyes and glue it onto the brown paper. Okay, nice. Look how cute that's going to be. Awesome. Great. Okay, now we're going to need our little nostrils, a little tongue, and some cute pointy ears. So let's do the ears next. For this I'm going to make basically a triangle shape, but it's going to be a little bit curved at the top. Okay? So I'm going to take a part of my bag that's folded, and we're going to do the same trick that I showed you with the eyes. So if you trace one shape and the paper is folded, you only have to cut it out once, and you'll have two that are exactly the same size and shape. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take my marker so you can see the shape that I'm drawing. There we go. So I'm going to start at the bottom, so I have a nice straight edge here. I'm going to go up to a point and then back down from that point. Ta-da! It's almost like if you think of like a house shape or like a church with like a little steeple at the top. Something kind of like that. All right. So let's cut that out, and because the paper is folded, we will have two that look exactly the same. And those are going to be our ears. Ta-da! All right. So I'm going to do basically the same idea, just a little bit smaller so that we have a nice little pink inside of our ears here. Set that aside. Now I'm going to use my pink paper, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a fold. It's a little bit smaller than the other one, and I'm going to draw that same shape but just a little bit smaller so that this will fit inside of the brown paper. So it's folded, so if I cut out one, the other right behind it will be the same size and shape. Ta-da! Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our glue stick and glue that pink part right in the middle of the brown paper. Almost like what we did with the eyes. Okay, that's not a glue stick. Here we go. All right. Here's the other one. Ta-da! Now I've got my cute little horsey ears. So we've got our eyes, we've got our ears. Now we need our nostrils and our floppy little tongue here. Let's do those nostrils. So once again, I'm going to use my folding technique. Here, I'm going to cut out a smaller portion so you guys can really see what I'm doing here. We don't have all this extra paper in the way. I've got a small piece that's folded, and I'm just going to draw a circle so I have two matching nostrils. If you want to, actually for this, you could use, you could trace the bottle cap if you still have it around. That's probably a pretty good size and shape. If you want to trace, I'm just going to do it freehand. I'm going to go wild. Okay. Got my nostrils. Now we're going to make, whoop, sorry, horsey. We're going to make our tongue. So for that, I'm going to use some red paper. So I've got a little scrap here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a rectangle. I'm actually going to use the edge here, so I already have two straight edges. Got a nice little long skinny rectangle, and I'm going to cut that out. Now it doesn't quite look like a tongue, so I'm just going to round the end right there. So I'm cutting off the corners and making the end a little round, like a nice floppy tongue. Oh. Okay, great. Woo, I think we're ready to start putting our face onto our horsey. Okay, so what I used for this was the duct tape. You might need an adult to help you pull it off the roll and to cut the pieces, because this is very, very sticky tape. You could try using a glue gun, but I have a feeling that it's going to melt the plastic, so I'm sticking with duct tape for this. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the eyes so that I can cover that little white patch that we were talking about. Okay. So I'm going to get two pieces. And we've done this technique before, but I'm just going to roll it up so the sticky side is on the outside. And I'm going to put one piece on one side, and I'm going to take another piece and stick it to the other side. Ah! There we go. Should still work. So I've got two rolled up pieces of duct tape, and we're going to stick those eyes right over top of that white patch. So we've covered it right up. Excellent. Now let's do our little nostrils. I'm going to take two smaller pieces of tape because these are smaller little circles. And I'm going to do the same thing, rolling it up and sticking it on the back. Okay, so now the nostrils are going to go way down here at this round part. So most of the bottles, you're going to see they have kind of this top part here, and they'll have kind of a smaller area. It gets narrower, and then it gets a little wider here at the bottom. So we're going to go for this wider round part. And we're going to stick those on just like that. I'm going to flip this one over because I can see the outline, the marker outline here. There we go. Okay. So now I've got my two little nostrils. And now let's put on our ears. So I'm going to put them one in front of each other, and I'm going to fold a little tab at the bottom. So if I hold the little tab, the ears will stick straight up. So this little tab is where I'm going to put my rolled up duct tape for both of my ears. So you might want to roll this piece a little bit narrower. There's one. Oh, that's too small. Okay, I've got my duct tape on my little ears, and I'm going to put my little ears kind of right above where my little eyes are. And we're pressing those tabs down so that the duct tape stays. All right, all we're missing is our cute little floppy tongue. So here also, I'm going to make a little fold at the bottom and make a little tab to put the tape. And here, I want this tongue to be nice and floppy. So I'm going to fold it both ways on the same line so that it can really flop around, be really silly. And I take one more piece of duct tape, roll it up, and put it on that little tab. This piece of tape is a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim the extra right there. Okay. We're going to put this right on the end of the bottle. Oh, actually, I'm going to put it like this, kind of sticking up so that it flops down like that. All right, so we've got our cute little horsey head, and now all we have to do is attach it to our big stick or our broomstick, and then we can add our little string to have some reins for our horsey. Okay, so if you have a big stick, you can just slide it right in, and then we'll put some duct tape to keep it secure. And if not, you can take a paper towel roll and put it over top of that little nozzle, and you can do the same thing. Grab some duct tape, and you can take, if you want, you can put one more and tape it as well so that you can have a longer little stick here. Okay, so those are both options for you. But since I have this big old stick, I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it right there inside the bottle. I'm going to set it down, and I'm going to get a nice bigger piece of duct tape. And I'm going to tape right here at the end of the bottle so it stays nice and secure. You can pull the tape nice and tight. Squish it down so that it stays. All right. Okay, we are so close. I'm going to angle this down just a little bit. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. So now I want to, you can skip this step. It's more just for the look of it, but it's nice to have some little reins so you can really feel like you're riding a horse. So I'm going to take a really, really, really long piece of yarn here. Okay. Or string, whatever you have. And I'm going to cut it. Okay. Really, really long, really, really long. Okay, I'm gonna find both of the ends. Got both the ends here so that I've got my really, really long string basically in half. Scooch back a little bit. Okay, so I found kind of where the middle is. I'm gonna move my sample here so that's out of the way. And let's show you how I tied these reins. And this is just kind of, just scoot back a little bit more. Like I said, this is kind of just for decoration. Your horsey is ready to go as it is right now. So I'm just showing you how I did these strings, but if you have a better method that you want to use, go for it. So I'm coming right here where that little narrow part of the bottle was, and I'm going around like this. So it goes around that narrow part of the bottle once or twice. And I'm going to tie a knot right here underneath. Now, this is quite a long string, so it might be a little difficult to deal with, and if you need a helper, be sure and ask. Somebody can help tie these knots for you while you hold it in place. Okay. Nice and tight so that it stays in place. We don't want it loose and falling off. We want it nice and tight. Okay, so there's the little bridle, I guess that's what you would call it. And now, if you look to the side, I'm going to let this a little bit loose, right? And I'm going to come into the stick, and I'm going to tie a knot right around the stick here. So that stays. I'm going to tie one more knot. Okay, so that we have this nice little string hanging down. Okay, now last part. I take either side of the string. We're going to go around our stick, and then I'm just going to tie the ends together, and that is it. If your string wasn't exactly even, no problem. You can just trim the extra. Doesn't matter at all. Nice and secure. There's my scissors. I'm going to trim off the extra, and we are good to go. Okay. So, you get on your horsey. You're going to hold it with one hand, and you can hold the reins with the other, and you can gallop around your backyard or the sidewalk or a park if you're able to go into a park. Or just around the living room. Why not? Okay. So here we go. Our first DIY puppet for Farm Week. Because if you have a farm, you need a horse so you can ride around and see all of your fields and your animals and your crops and things. So, all right. Thank you everyone for joining us. This one is a very, very big puppet. So I hope you get some good use out of your new stick horsey. Should be a lot of fun to play with. I'm looking forward to playing with mine in a little bit. And we are here every single day. Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock, weekends, Saturdays, and Sundays at 10 a.m. But actually, for these particular DIY crafts, we are going to be changing our content at the end of the month. So I believe after Thursday, that will be our last live DIY craft that's exactly like this. After that, we're going to be moving into some different kinds of content. We will still be here for you every single day, but we're going to be featuring, we're still having some puppet making videos once a week. We're featuring some puppet videos from other puppeteers as well. There's a podcast on Sundays. So we're still going to be here for you every single day, but the content will be a little bit different. So this is your time for the month of July to catch up on all of the crafts. If you've missed any of them, we're going to be reviving some of them or making some of them a little bit more spruced up or things like that. So definitely keep watching, keep following, but the content will be changing a little bit after this week. So keep an eye out. You can always find the latest at wondersparkpuppets.com. We have memberships. We have merch. You can enter to win a private live streamed puppet show, or you can order a puppet chat or a puppet telegram for someone special. So definitely check us out there and check out our free live streamed puppet show on Friday at 11 a.m. So thank you so much for joining us. It's the first day of Farm Week, so look forward to more farm themed crafts until Thursday. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.